Om Kannimoola Ganapati Bhagavane Sharanamayappa. Om Swamiye Sharanamayappa. Om Guruvin Guruve Sharanamayappa. Om Gurupada Vandanave Sharanamayappa. Adhyaya 4. Bhuloka Avatarana. Descent to the earth. Adored by his parents Parvati and Parameswara, lovingly cherished by his brothers Ganapati and Subramanya, devotedly worshipped by the Ganas like Nandi and Bhringi, Bhagavan Shasta grew up to the apple of everyone's eye. As a loving father, Lord Shiva became his guru and taught him the Vedas, Agamas, along with all other arts and sciences. Lord Shiva became overjoyed to see his son become the master of all the different branches of learning. One day, the Supreme Lord Shiva called Shasta to his side. Having lovingly embraced his son, the Lord said, "Dear child, listen carefully to my words. Slaying the demoness Mahishi and thereby granting her moksha is one of the main purposes of your avatara. Having conquered the three worlds, she laid a siege on heaven and caused distress to all. As of now, she is residing on earth with her husband, Sundara Mahisha. Oblivious of her true identity, she is roaming in the woods. She may return to heaven anytime. Only you are capable of bringing her end for the welfare of the universe, as she has obtained such a boon. Her destruction must take place as per the conditions of the boon which she received. Therefore, to fulfill the conditions of her boon, you must descend to earth. Do as I say. Go to the Mattanga forest, located in the southern part of Bharatakhanda. Assuming the form of an infant, lay yourself on the ground and start crying loudly. At that juncture, the king of Pandala, Rajashekara of the Pandya dynasty, who is a great devotee of mine, will come there on a hunting expedition. He will take you home and bring you up as his own son. At the age of 12, a situation will arise whereby you will have to go to the forest. At that point of time, you will have the opportunity to slay Mahishi and you will be endowed with the powers to carry out that task. Act accordingly. Having instructed thus, Lord Shiva put a divine Manimala, necklace of precious gems, not a bell as popularly presumed by many, on Shasta's neck. By the reason of wearing this necklace of gems, which is also known as Mani, you will be renowned as Manikantha, declared the Lord and blessed Shasta. Having worshipped Parvati and Lord Shiva, and after bidding farewell to his brothers and other Ganas, Lord Shasta decided to proceed to earth as per his father's wish. He worshipped Akasha Ganga, stationed at heaven, and addressed her thus, "O heavenly Ganga, you are another form of my mother. You are also my mother. In order to save the universe, I am going to descend to the earth. I am going to manifest directly as an infant without taking birth through a womb. You shall take the role of my mother and nurture me." Akasha Ganga said, "Child, I dwell in both earth and Patala, as much as I reside in heaven. An amsha of mine has assumed the form of the sacred river Pampa in the southern region. Descend here into my water flow and manifest yourself as an infant there. I'll take care of you as my very own son." Descending to the earth through the flow of heavenly Ganga, the Lord manifested himself in the Mattanga woods on the banks of the Pampa river. Assuming the form of a baby, he laid himself on the ground and started crying. Various Gandharvas, ascetics, and Bhutas paid their homage to the Lord rejoicingly. At the same time, King Rajashekara, who ruled the Pandalapura region of the Pandyan kingdom, came to the forest with his ministers on a hunting expedition. As it is a part of duty of the ruler to hunt and eliminate wild animals that cause harm to his subjects, the Pandyan king and his troops went on hunting trip. Aided by the forest-dwelling tribals sounding their drums, they ventured into the woods. Startled by the sudden noise, tigers, cheetahs, lions, bears, wolves, elephants, and other creatures started running hither and thither. The king and his troops tirelessly slew many ferocious animals using their javelins, swords, and arrows. Having successfully accomplished their mission, the troops took their bath in the Pampa river. Invigorated after the refreshing bath, the king and his troops completed their twilight Sandhya Vandana worship, evening prayers, and took rest. At that moment, they heard the cries of a child. How is it possible to hear the cries of a human child in this deep wilderness? Aren't the child's parents by its side? Would they have gone searching for food, leaving the child alone? Or is it merely an illusion created by demons? Wondered the king. Setting aside the doubts which haunted his mind, the king mustered some courage to go forth and find out the facts for himself, no matter what would the consequence be. Picking up his bow and arrows, the king walked towards the direction from which the cries arose. Suddenly, a huge effulgence arose in a split second and disappeared as if to indicate to the devotee king the spot where the child was located. And then the king beheld the radiating light, and he beheld the divine child. What a sight it was! Radiating the brilliance of crores of suns, with a neck bedecked with a necklace of 9 precious gems. The divine child was lying on the ground, gently kicking up his legs in the air and crying continuously. Wonderstruck by this divine sight, the king's mind became still for a moment, and he stood motionless. Several thoughts began to run in the mind of the childless monarch at the sight of the beautiful child, which was laying abandoned. With a mind brimming with love and affection, he longingly gazed at the child. On one hand, his mind indicated to him that this child was a gift from God. On the other hand, being a ruler, his intellect pondered about the child's parentage. Even as his mind was oscillating thus, an elderly Brahmana came there all of a sudden. The king, who was already awed by the sequence of events, stood stupefied. "O monarch, why are you entertaining doubts about this child? Since you are childless, take this child home and bring him up lovingly. He will grow up to be a virtuous, heroic son, capable of removing the afflictions of everyone. Do not ponder over his identity now. When he reaches the age of 12, the true identity and the history of this child will be revealed to you." As the child was wearing a Navaratna Mani necklace on his neck, Kantha, name him as Mani Kantha. After hearing the words of the Brahmana, the king was fully convinced that this was the act of God. Undoubtedly, all this is due to the grace of my Kuladaivam, the king told himself. Overjoyed, the king lifted the child and clasped it to his bosom lovingly. He felicitated all the members of his troops with various gifts and bid them farewell. In a jubilant mode, the king returned to his capital and excitedly narrated to his queen the wondrous events that took place. As a mark of celebrating the coming of the divine child, King Rajashekara made several gifts of cows, clothes, land, and food. He gave the child to his queen, and they began to lead a joyous life. Om Swamy Sharanam. Om Swamy Sharanam. Om Swamy Sharanam. This is the end of Adhyaya 4. Om Swamy Sharanam.